chocolate. It's smooth, decadent, sometimes sophisticated, and basically as old as dirt. Humans have been consuming chocolate for literally thousands of years, but it hasn't always been the way that we eat it today. Chocoholics unite, because today we are going on a walking tour through chocolate's history on FactBites. If you like today's episode, just a friendly reminder to give us a like or hit subscribe for more episodes. Chocolate is an ever-evolving foodstuff, but one thing has remained the same throughout the centuries. It has always been a special treat used to celebrate holidays, special occasions, or your average Thursday. So we thought it would be fun to take a tasting tour of chocolate through the ages, starting in ancient Mesoamerica.
First, what is chocolate? Well, chocolate is derived from the cacao beans, or the seeds from the fruit or pods of the cacao tree. They actually don't look all that different from coffee beans. Once harvested, the beans are fermented, roasted, and then ground into a paste. Early civilizations stopped there, but as chocolate's history progressed, we began separating the cocoa butters from the solids to make different variations of chocolate. Chocolate can be traced back to the Olmec civilization of modern-day Mexico, as early as 1500 BC. How do we know this? Well, chocolate contains a unique compound called Theobromine, and traces of this compound have been discovered in Olmec dishware of the period, indicating that these people drank some kind of chocolate beverage, probably for ceremonial purposes. The Olmecs then likely passed on their chocolate knowledge to the Mayans. This civilization also used chocolate for ceremonial purposes. Some were religious, as they thought chocolate came from the gods. Others were more down to earth, such as royal feasts or marriages. They even gave a chocolate drink to their warriors going into battle, as they believed the chocolate would increase their strength. The drink, though common enough for everyday consumption, was still pretty special, and cacao beans were often used as a form of currency. When the Aztecs began conquering much of the continent, they accepted cacao beans from the Mayans as tribute and adopted chocolate drinks into their own ceremonies. Now, you may be imagining a drink similar to hot cocoa, and if so, you are not even close. First, the Mesoamerican civilizations of ancient times did not have sugar. Though there is some evidence they sweetened their chocolate drink with honey, it's likely that this beverage was unsweetened. Second, cocoa back then was not refined the way we make it now. This drink was made of raw cacao beans ground into a paste and then mixed, most likely, with water. Think of the darkest chocolate bar you've ever eaten. It's kind of bitter, right? Well, that's likely how this drink would have tasted. But wait, there's more. Though they may have lacked sugar, Mesoamerica was full of spices, so this drink was often flavored with chilies, vanilla, cinnamon, and annatto. So now you have a spicy, bitter drink that was usually enjoyed cold, not hot. Some recipes also called for the addition of corn flour or maize. This would have made the drink very thick, possibly like a porridge. Most important of all, this drink was hella frothy. In fact, servers would pour it from vessel to vessel in order to get a super frothy head on the top, like the foam on the top of a cappuccino or a pint of beer. So we don't really have any recipes from these ancient civilizations to copy today. When Hernan Cortez met with the Aztecs in 1519, a member of his crew described the drink and its preparation methods in his diary. So we do have some idea of how the drink was mixed. Although we don't have the exact recipe, there are other traditional chocolate recipes from Mexico and Central and South America passed down through the ages that can give us an idea.
So first I have Champurrado, which is the chocolate drink made with ground corn flour or maize. This one is made with maseca, which is a very finely ground corn flour, and most recipes you find online will call for both milk and sugar, but in the interest of historical accuracy, we have not included either of those in our Champurrado. Now, did I come up with an episode about chocolate as an excuse to eat a lot of chocolate? Yes. Am I absolutely going to regret this? Also, yes. So this has no sugar, no milk. It does have cinnamon in it, and it is stone cold. So I'm going to drink this for the first time right now on camera. All right. Or at least I'm going to try, because it's kind of the consistency of pudding. So here we go. So that was kind of like sticking my finger into cocoa powder and licking the cocoa powder off of my finger. Like, okay, that's, it's kind of like coffee, maybe a little bit. Like, it doesn't taste like coffee, but it has the bitterness of coffee and is very thick. And yeah, not super great, but we tried it. So these over here, these are conchas, which are the traditional pastry that you would eat with a glass of champurrado. They're kind of like donuts, but with like a crunchy, sugary top on them. They're pretty great, and I definitely recommend you try and find some sort of Latin American bakery and pick up some conchas if you're gonna make champurrado. And again, I would just like to reiterate, make sure you put the sugar in the champurrado. Just trust me on this, guys. Trust me. Okay, so next I have Xocolatl, which does not have any corn flour in it. It is just water and chocolate. This one has chili in it, so it should be a little on the spicy side. But again, I have not tasted this before this moment now, so you are seeing my real-time reaction to this drink right now. Unfortunately, we are not culinary experts and did not get a frothy head on our Xocolatl, but if we were trying to be like the ancient Aztecs or the ancient Mayans, we would have poured it from glass to glass in order to get a really thick, frothy head on it. So this is, like I said, chocolate, it's water, it's spices, and I'm gonna taste it now. Okay, so this one was a little bit better than the champurrado. It tastes more chocolatey. There's maybe a little bit of heat there, but again, there's no sugar in this, so it's not sweet even a little bit. It's mostly just bitter. Again, similar to drinking like a black coffee. It doesn't taste like coffee, but it has that same bitter quality. You can kind of get why people would like it. You can kind of get why the ancient Mesoamericans would think that this was going to fortify you for battle, but also, wow, I am really glad that we have moved on from this.
After the exploration of the 16th century, cocoa made its way across the Atlantic to the courts of Spain, and then onto the rest of Europe. In its early days, chocolate drink was not too different from its ancient roots. Still bitter, many considered it a medicinal treatment for upset stomachs. But once Europeans started sweetening it with honey and eventually cane sugar, the drink took off. Now, chocolate was used in baked goods during this time period, but it was not until the mid-1800s that chocolate began to diversify. So throughout the 16 and 1700s, chocolate was still mainly consumed as a beverage. Chocolate houses, similar to coffee houses of the day, would sell a rich, dark version of drinking chocolate that is closer to what we drink today. At this point, they may have added sugar, but more likely honey to sweeten it, and the drink was still relatively strong and bitter. However, in the 1700s, chocolate aficionados began adding milk to their drinking chocolate, and Sir Hans Sloane of England is believed to be the first person to do so. He believed that chocolate had strong medicinal properties to aid digestion, and to find out, I have a drinking chocolate here that is based off of one of his recipes.
I have a European sipping chocolate recipe kind of based on his writings on chocolate. This one does have milk in it. It also has a chili pepper, some cinnamon, and also some vanilla. I also steeped some raw cocoa nibs in it, which is closer to what they would have actually had, but there's also just some melted chocolate in here as well. This one, I will also add, has honey in it. I used honey instead of sugar since that was probably more accurate to the time, but this is the first time we get to have chocolate sweetened with something. So let's see how this tastes. Okay, so that's like drinking a chocolate bar. It's very dark chocolate, which we did on purpose because that's what they would have had. It's very thick and creamy and is more palatable than these other two, but I will also remind you that if you look for either Champurrado or Xocolatl on the internet, if you look for recipes, they will call for sweeteners and or milk. So definitely still try and test them out if you're interested in that. We left the sugar and the milk out for historical purposes, but you do not have to. We did that for you.
All right, let's fast forward to 1828 and a family-run chocolate factory in Amsterdam. The Van Houten father and son team perfect the art of separating the cocoa fats, or cocoa butter, from the cocoa solids with their patented cocoa press. By removing the cocoa butter from the roasted cocoa nibs, they were able to make powdered chocolate, and by adding in alkaline salts, the flavor would be less bitter. The resulting Dutch cocoa was perfect for mixing with milk or water. Not only did this invention make chocolate more available to the masses, it also paved the way for solid chocolate. By adding melted cocoa butter back into the solids, Joseph Fry discovered he could make moldable chocolate bars. In 1875, the Swiss chocolatier Daniel Peter, with a little help from his neighbor Henri Nestle, added powdered milk to chocolate, creating one of the first milk chocolate bars. But it was not until 1879 that chocolate bars developed into our modern confection. That was when Rudolf Lindt of Lindt Chocolates invented the chocolate conch, a device that evenly distributed the cocoa butter to make a smoother, more flavorful chocolate bar.
Okay, so to honor these 19th century achievements in chocolate, I have a chocolate bar. It is a Lindt classic recipe chocolate bar. It is a milk chocolate bar. It has 45% cocoa. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up and taste what classic recipe Lindt chocolate tastes like. Remember, Lindt invented the process of conching, which helped to evenly distribute the cocoa butter. So this should be a really smooth, fine texture, and it is milk chocolate, so it should be super creamy and right on both counts. So, yeah, pretty good. I say we definitely have improved on chocolate since, the 1500s. Good job, everyone.
Today, chocolate is abundant in our grocery stores and gas stations and specialty shops. We've come a long way from the ancient beverages of Mesoamerica, but there is a trend towards more natural, less processed chocolate products, and the chocolate industry is paying attention, especially when it comes to fair trade among cacao farmers.
So that's chocolate through the ages, guys. We have definitely come a long way from the porridge-like chocolate drink of the ancient Olmecs and the Mayans to the strong and spicy chocolate drink of the Aztecs, who handed that off to the Spanish, and then the sipping chocolate of the Europeans, which you can actually find something very similar to that in a lot of coffee houses today. And who knows what chocolate's gonna look like tomorrow. If you liked today's episode, make sure to give us a like and hit subscribe, and thanks for watching today's episode on chocolate.